Hey guys, I'm back. Or I guess to quote Jack Nicholson on The Shining, first horror movie I saw, here's Johnny, or I'll say, here's Nevin. Anyways, we're going to talk about a couple of news items here and there. And one thing I wanted to talk about, and I think this really vindicates analysts like J.R. Nyquist, Trevor Loudon, Cliff Kincaid, and others who have been sounding the alarm on the continuing threat of communism. And I see this has been widely reported in news outlets, thankfully. And this headline for CBS News is Russia says it's building a new, quote, democratic world order with China. So Russia's foreign minister, Sergei Lavrov, had stated, we, together with you and with our sympathizers, will move towards a multipolar, just, democratic world order. Lavrov said in a video released by the Russian Foreign Ministry ahead of a meeting with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi. Foreign Ministry of the Chinese spokesman Wang Wenbin told reporters earlier that Moscow and Beijing would continue efforts in, quote, advancing global multipolarity and the democratization of international relations. Wang added that China-Russia cooperation has no limits. Our striving for peace, meaning global domination, peace is not what we think, what we agree peace is. Peace is something totally different with them, which means the United States basically being taken out of the equation. Our striving for peace, meaning world domination, has no limits. Our upholding of security, meaning control over the world, has no limits. Our opposition towards hegemony, meaning the United States, has no limits. Now, the statement here also says some forces representing a minority on the world stage. Gee, I wonder what that is referring to. You think it refers to the United States? Duh, yeah. Some forces representing a minority on the world stage continue to advocate unilateral approaches to solving international problems and resort to power politics, practice interference in the internal affairs of other states, damaging their legitimate rights and interests, provoking contradictions, disagreements, and confrontation. So, and it goes on and on with your typical sort of anti-American covert, but not so pretty obvious anti-Americanism. So the bottom line is what does all this mean? This means that the analysts like Jeff Nyquist are right about geopolitics. This is one clenched fist, and they're slowly revealing their fist. And that sort of Russian flag, what is it? The red, white, colors of the Russian flag with the blue. It's slowly revealing itself to be red. Because when you use, like Putin in his speech, when he was launching the special operation, which is Soviet terminology, by the way, special. Everything is special in Soviet terminology. Of Ukraine, Putin was talking about denazification. And notwithstanding my critiques of aspects of Ukrainian extremist politics, the fact of the matter is, as I said before, it's the pot calling the kettle black, because Putin's Russia has all kinds of ties with international neo-Nazi and neo-fascist and right-wing populist movements. And he is saying that that's his Soviet ideology kind of seeping out. It's the same thing with democratic world order. Democratic communists always refer to themselves as democratic this and democratic that. I mean, North Korea is called the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. The old Soviet bloc states used to be called the People's Democracies. China is still called the People's Republic. It's either people's or democratic. And when they say democratic world order, that means control, global dominance by Russia, the Russian Federation, under that creature of the Soviet system, Vladimir Putin, and the openly communist dictatorship in China. And when they talk about sympathizers, we, together with you and with our sympathizers, will move towards a multipolar, just democratic world order. My God, that says everything you need to know there. Everything. Everything. That means that China and Russia, with their global network of sympathizers throughout the world, presumably the ANC, South African Communist Party, and the Republic of South Africa, to the Arab Socialist Ba'ath Party in Syria, the mullahs in Iran, various assorted left-wing and some neo-Nazi movements in the United States, elements within the Republican and Democratic parties. You got a vast reserve of sympathizers all over Latin America. And this is what's going on here. I mean, we talked about in the last show various American hard left groups basically saying, give a little slap on the wrist to Russia, but basically reserving a lot of their venom towards the United States and NATO. These are people that are sympathizers. They blame the United States and NATO for the war. Some of them openly sympathize with Russia, like the Center for Political Innovation, like the Workers' World Party to some degree. They sympathize with the Russians in some degree or another, and other groups do to some degree or another. So these are the sympathizers that we're dealing with here. Every week, it seems like new information is coming out, which shows that the Russians and the Chinese, as partners, are together trying to create a new democratic world order, which is a world in their image, which is totalitarian. It's highly centralized, more than even the populism that is expounded by myself and my co-host Herschel Miller, way more and way less accountable. I mean, what can I tell you? This is showing that, again, people like J.R. Nyquist and other analysts, they've been saying for years, really almost two and a half decades, that's correct. But do they get listened to on the popular stage? No. Is Ben Shapiro, the Daily Wire, having them? God forbid, no. Michael Savage, forget it. Michael Savage is salivating over to Vladimir Putin. Kicks a friend of mine like Jimmy from Brooklyn, who I've dealt with personally, great guy, nice guy, treated him like crap, like dog do. Like dog poop. I lost total respect for Michael Savage. Michael Savage and Tucker Carlson are sympathizers, as far as I'm concerned, with the positions that they've taken on Putin's Russia, both in writing and speech, and in the case of Michael Savage, the Facebook posts. And that's what's going on. And we need to be prepared. And we need to be prepared militarily, spiritually, economically, and on the intelligence fronts. Do I trust Joe Biden and the Congress and all our institutions as currently configured? No. And that's a whole different discussion for another time. But I am confident that we have people, everyday people that are knowledgeable from all walks of life, that could become the cradle of a new leadership here in the United States of America when the crisis hits. So on that note, I conclude this episode. We're going to take a little intermission, and then I'm going to be coming back with some more live streams. So thank you all for listening. Thank you for the likes, and I'll be back momentarily. Just got to take care of a few things. Thank you all. And I'll be back. As Arnold Schwarzenegger says, I'll be back.